Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of Barry and Honey Sherman, who were discovered deceased on December 15th of 2017 in their own home. They estimate that they actually died several days before that. They were tied to the railing of their own private pool with belts, I believe, and their cause of death was strangulation. He was discovered along with his wife by their real estate agent because they were actually in the middle of having a new mansion built, and the one that they were in was going to get sold. Now, Barry was a billionaire. He had a very successful pharmaceutical company that made general pharmaceutics. It was called Apotex. And his wife Honey was known for being a philanthropist, so they were very well known. And as a matter of fact, I saw a short clip of the funeral, and there were a lot of notable people there. Now, usually when somebody has a lot of money, you would expect that there may be a chance that somebody would come under fire at some point, just for that alone. But it turns out that Barry actually had a lot of people that didn't like him. He was described as a very direct man, I believe, and throughout the years he had made a few enemies here and there, particularly in the corporate world. I believe that there was an investigation going due to improper political fundraising activities that he may have been involved in. There was also research into some type of financial fraud as well, police investigation, if I heard that right. If not, then I apologize. And of course he had a lot of competitors. Now, so far, I don't think they had a lot of leads. They have a lot of people, of course, that they look into because of the different businesses that he had, etc. Nobody has actually been convicted yet. There has been a bit of footage released from a camera, I believe, that was on the same road as their house. And it appears to be a man walking down the street. That is, according to the clip that I saw of the police detective that was talking about the clip, the only person that they could not exclude as a suspect that was recorded on the home security cameras of the people in the neighborhood. So that is not a whole lot of information to go on, but that's fine. I'm sure that I missed some details in their case, but what is most important is that we try to do a reading on this case and see what the tarot has to say. On the table we have the Santa Muerte deck, which is this one, and for any further questions, moving on to the Vice Versa tarot deck, which is this one with the cards with the double sides. As we've seen those multiple times, I'm sure. Always like the two sides to a story feel of that deck. Anyway, so before we get started, you'll probably be aware by now, I think, that I have a Google form linked in the description of the video, which may be below the video or top right. Sometimes it moves. And if you have a case that you would like me to do a reading on, you can submit it via that Google form. And it's completely anonymous. All I get is whatever you put in the fields, which will hopefully be the name of the case and some information, like a background information that I could get started on. Now with that out of the way, I think we can just get started. I'm just going to shuffle the cards until we have about a table full of cards to look at, and then we'll stop and see what we can find. So without much further ado, let's go. Okay, we've got a nice row here. Also, we have a bonus card on the end. Let's see what we've got. We're starting off with the Three of Cups, followed by the Six of Pentacles and the Three of Wands by the looks of things. So we're starting off with somebody, I think, that was actually a friend of theirs, quite harmonious, at least between those three. And the Six of Pentacles over here is normally like a charity thing. So this might be somebody who's connected to them through charity organizations, or is looking for charity. Maybe they were asking for a loan or something along those lines. And then we have the Three of Wands, which is normally like planning travel, trying to find a way out of a situation maybe, or just wanting to move on, move to different places, new actions perhaps, but it's in reverse. So I think that it's more being unable to move on. So this might be somebody who has been given charity in the past and who is keeping, or at least was continuously coming back. And that did not go well. We have the next card. This is the Santa Muerte herself, which is the death card in this deck, followed by the Eight of Cups, that's walking away, and then a King of Cups on the end. So I think, though, what I just said about somebody coming in for charity and basically not being able to move because of the Three of Wands that's in reverse, like there's no plans being made. I think that they were cut off, looks as though, because we have here the Death card, so it's like the end of an era. So this combined with the Eight of Cups over here, that's usually walking away from a situation. It could be that the King of Cups on the end there was walking away from this situation. And so this might be somebody who is, the person who perpetrated that is, might be somebody who used to receive charity, perhaps used to regularly receive donations, or was helped along by them a lot, and now was going to get cut off, and they were not too happy about it, I think, because the crib is empty now over here as well, just looking at that. Like, they used to be able to get whatever they wanted, or at least enough, I would say. And now they were being cut off. And this is a decision that I think was made quite quickly. Although the Eight of Cups does look like they're thinking about it, so maybe they've been thinking about this for some time. The reason why I say quickly is because it is a Cups card, and it does tend to be a very emotional decision in that sense, which could be 1 minute to the next, I'm going to cut you off because you need to learn to stand on your own feet, something along those lines. And the King of Cups over here is usually very good at managing his own emotions. So it may be that he has spent some time thinking about that it's something that has been going on for some time, and that in his heart he felt like this was the best decision to make, and that's why we're also looking at the heart on the chest there. Also, the cup that he's trying to drink from is apparently empty save for one drop. So they were basically done caring, perhaps, or at least done carrying this person in this situation. Now this one's on the end, but I think I'll get to him last, or them. Next row we have the Ten of Wands, which is a burden that is no longer needing to be carried, or somebody's tired of carrying said burden. We have the Eight of Pentacles, which is focusing on something, maybe a profession, a new skill. And then we have the Emperor over here. So what I'm seeing, if this story over here makes sense, then I think this over here is continuation, in the sense that they were tired of carrying this burden every time. And they were like, you know what you should do? Like, the Emperor is here to give advice, because the Emperor is somebody who is like a father figure, that type of thing. So this might be somebody that Barry used to have under his wing, maybe at some point. Like, try to care for, try to make them into perhaps a businessman, or at least at this point they might have tried to do that, because the Eight of Cups, or no, not Eight of Cups, you had that one there. Eight of Pentacles is a focus card, also somebody who is really a good craftsman. He may at this point said, you know what, you should probably consider carrying your own burden and make your own money by just becoming a good, I don't know, good businessman, or maybe I can get you a job or something along those lines, because the Emperor over here is kind of done carrying in this case. And they may have been a little bit aggressive about that, which does not surprise me based on some of the descriptions that they gave of him, because I'm noticing in particular that the gun that he's holding over there, it's aimed at the ground, but you know, it's definitely ready to go, I believe. He's got his hands near the trigger in any case, near the handle, so that just in case there's trouble, he can pull it up whenever he needs to. And this is more of a stern, friendly but stern type of person that we're looking at with the Emperor over here. Like, okay, this is for your own good. You need to get a job, work for yourself, get your own money so that we don't have to carry your burden anymore. And it'll probably make you feel better as well to support yourself. This led to an argument because we see here the Five of Swords in reverse, and then we have the King of Pentacles in reverse as well, followed by the Page of Wands in reverse. A lot of reverse over here. So the Five of Swords, swords in general are communication, words, thoughts, that type of thing. And even just looking at the card, it's like all swords are pointing at one person or two people in this case, perhaps. This looks like they got in trouble with this person. This person was not at all prepared to hear that message. And they perhaps viewed them as being greedy, because the King of Pentacles is normally somebody who has a good amount of finances, and this may have been the view of the person, the perpetrator, looking at them as, oh, you just don't want to give me any money anymore because you're tired of, I don't know, spending money on me because you're greedy, you just want everything for yourself, you're selfish, that type of thing. And then we have a Page of Wands moment. Page of Wands is somebody who is very quick to act, may not have thought things through. They are actually holding what looks like a scroll, and they have like a top hat on, so the character on the card at least looks like somebody who is learned, but are also sitting on a swing, and that kind of gives me the impression that this is somebody who could have made something out of themselves, but rather chose not to because they just preferred the leisurely existence that they had led so far. So they may have done something rash based on their idea of, I shouldn't have to work, this isn't for me, working is for other people, that type of thing. And then on the end we have Temperance, which is in reverse, so this is them literally losing their temper right at the end there. So they definitely lost their balance. They were in a fit of rage, probably, and that is how they ended up carrying out this action. Now let's go to the Vice Versa Tarot over here to see if we can get any more information about this person, perhaps. Have they perhaps already been looked at by law enforcement? Looked at seriously, perhaps, not just considered, because I said at the beginning there are probably a lot of people that they have to consider. Okay, so a card is fallen on the ground. Hang on. This is the Knight of Swords in reverse. Now, Knight of Swords has come up a lot in our readings recently, and they are definitely somebody who is quick with their words, but they're not truthful. So it could be that they spent a lot of time lying, and they may be a really good liar, although maybe good is not the answer. Maybe frequent liar might be a better description, because we're definitely looking at somebody who's kind of gung-ho. I'm also looking at the swallows in the background. So when swallows fly high, that means that the air pressure is low. And it does look like they're pretty much above the clouds here. So this is somebody who probably didn't feel a lot of pressure or didn't have a lot of pressure on them. But they definitely make sure to try and cover their tracks with their words at least. So I think they have been investigated, or at least have been spoken to. But so far they have been good enough with their words to avoid detection. What else can we see? That one. Alright, so they're definitely worried about it. Although, this is the rich side of the Five of Pentacles. Let me put it up to the camera. So we're used to seeing this side. So now on the other side of the window, where we see that the grass is indeed not greener, just perhaps more rich. This person may have been able to avoid detection and too much worry due to their wealth, actually, because normally when it's upright, I would say this is definitely somebody, even though they have all the resources, they feel like they are bankrupted. Reverse, I often say that it's something that has metastasized in the mind of the person, so it could be that they're always anxious and looking out, but it could also mean that actually they're quite comfortable still and they're not really doing too badly, and maybe they feel like things are bad, but due to that Knight of Swords energy, we also have somebody who may exaggerate the trouble that they're in while they're actually doing fine, because they are dry and comfortable from the snow that was outside, the snowdrift that we saw on the other side of the card. Alright, so they're definitely good at keeping secrets hidden, because the moon is in reverse. I don't think we're going to see too much information about them soon. And the other card we have here is the Seven of Swords, which is again avoiding detection with words, sneaking off with things, manipulation. So this person is very good vocally. Probably also fairly intelligent, that they're able to evade detection just by talking their way out of trouble. Let's see what else we can find. Are they gonna get in trouble at some point? Because so far they seem to be pretty good at keeping their secrets hidden. And it has been several years since this crime was perpetrated, so that makes sense. This is the Queen of Cups, and I feel like this is somebody who may be shielding them in some way. May also be a emotional support for them. Queen of Cups, kind of like the King of Cups over there. They may be related, actually. So this might be somebody who is related and may, due to their deep emotions, I would say, perhaps emotional connections, not want to believe that all this deception is taking place. We're definitely maybe looking at somebody, we're definitely looking at somebody who may be very close to the Shermans and whom they therefore do not suspect. And there's definitely a female or somebody with some feminine energy who is shielding them, or perhaps also aiding in a way in getting other people to stop suspecting them. So they may definitely be related. Let's see what else we can find. Are we going to get more leads to find him or them? I say him. I feel like it's a him, but I'm not sure. Okay, this one flipped, which of course is a little difficult to see in this deck, but I saw it. So we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. So not somebody who wants to work with people, is not cooperating. So this might be somebody who, even though they're pretty good at talking their way out of things, might also have a certain uncooperative edge to them. So they may at some point want to stop cooperating with law enforcement. Might be looking at some, that one also flipped. So that's you right there. Might be looking at somebody who has been questioned before, and even when they call him in now, or if and when they call him in now, he may be saying, actually, we had this discussion a while ago. Why do we have to do this again? I don't remember anything new. Why are we having this discussion a second time? It's a waste of time. Can't you do your job with somebody else? So maybe no longer wanting to cooperate with law enforcement. We are looking at the back, I think, of Temperance. Is that right? Let me take a look. Yep, here we go. And behind Temperance, we see a lion and an eagle, which are two of the things that we normally see on the wheel. They may be able to stop the wheel from spinning in that sense, even though there is like a gate back there. Well, neither of them is actually looking at the gate or portal, whatever you want to call that in the background. I think they are at least partially successful in stopping this wheel from turning. Yeah, looks like it has at least some grip on the wheel. In other words, some grip on consequences that may be coming their way. That they can avoid that at least partially. What else can we see about this person and their fate? Oh, that one's about to fall off the table, but landed on my arm. We have here the Devil, which is an addiction, ties that you are keeping you back, basically, or that you could release if you wanted to, but for whatever reason you just chose not to. So this person may be suffering from some sort of addiction that is going to eventually lead to their exposure, or is going to be the reason why they can only partially stop the wheel from turning, so to speak. But it might eventually come to the front anyway. Oh, there we go. We have the King of Swords, the backside, and in reverse. So he may end up making a catastrophic mistake when it comes to their words. I see lightning striking in the background over there, and I think this may be a moment where he actually realizes that the words he's just spoken are not good and very incriminating. But since it is the King of Swords, this is a king that is very steadfast, so I think this is going to be a bit of a tug-of-war situation. I see on the ground a sickle, which is something you would use to cut like grains or something along those lines, or other types of herbs. It's right there on the ground, if you can see that right there. And I think that they're done working. I think they're just giving up on keeping up charades, maybe. Also, I'm looking at the peak there that is currently being struck by lightning, because it reminds me of the front of this card. This mountain right here. Let me turn it around. Maybe the same mountain range. I don't know. So whatever temperance that they did not manage to muster over here, that's going to eventually end up leading to this lightning strike, which means he's going to say something wrong, which is going to get noticed, because lightning is very fast. So it's going to slip out real fast, and then somebody's going to know it, because lightning also lights up the sky and the surrounding area where it strikes. So I think somebody's going to hear him say something that he shouldn't have if he wanted to stay hidden. What else can we see about our person here? Oh, yeah, this one and this one flipped right there, and these two on the top. Okay. We've got, this looks like the High Priestess, and we're looking at the back side of the High Priestess. That's right. So yeah, this looks like they're not careful anymore, which may be what that sickle on the ground was referencing. Maybe they've gotten so comfortable in their ability to avoid detection and their ability to lie to people that there are certain things that are just ignoring. Like there's keys on the pillow over here, which are basically unguarded at this point. So he may have, or he will at some point, give up the keys to unlock this secret. And we see that again with this Ace of Swords. This one flipped around as I was trying to pick it up. So Ace of Swords is usually a new idea, and in this case it could have been a triumphant idea. If you look at the eagle there, that has a one of those victory wreaths in its claws, but it's in reverse. And if you look at it, it doesn't have to just be one of those victories. It could also be a regular wreath, like you would bring to an official funeral, something along those lines. So this may be the end of their story. We also have here the Eight of Swords in reverse, and that's the same eagle right there, just that it doesn't have the wreath. It's almost like it's bringing the wreath over to this person over here, like it's their own undoing that it's approaching them. Even though, as per usual, in the Eight of Swords, you can actually walk away from it, and they even have like a sword stuck behind the ropes, which they could use to cut the ropes and free themselves, even though the ropes are already quite slack, so they probably wouldn't even need to do that. But I think that they're really stuck in their mind. They're so convinced that they are still outsmarting the police force, anybody who's keeping an eye on them, that they don't even notice the eagle over there that's coming for them, which I think is representing the glaring mistake that they're about to make. So that is interesting. And are we going to see them incarcerated, or at the very least tried, arrested? You never know. Some people tend to avoid those things somehow. But are we going to see anything about this? Okay, I need to go back to the other one. Oh, smaller stack. That one and that one. Okay. The one that flipped is a Magician in reverse. Yes, that's definitely them losing their ability to stay hidden, like I've said multiple times already. So they're losing their grip on manipulating others. And then we have here the Nine of Wands. Alright, so the Nine of Wands is like a conflict card. I think that once he loses his grip, we're going to see a lot people coming for him. It's quite a crowd there. Normally Nine of Wands is just somebody with a bunch of wands behind them and they look kind of beat up and tired, but this looks like the mob is still in full force and coming for them. Because of course the Shermans, whether you like them or not, they were very influential, and a lot of people will want to know more about this person that ended up ending their lives. So I think once he does slip up and they throw his name into the media, of course, as soon as his name is released to the media, which will happen eventually because this is a big case and they will definitely notice when an arrest has been made, we're probably going to see quite a crowd coming out to take a better look at this person and perhaps also come at them, because the wands are of course an action suit, so we're going to see a lot of action from them perhaps. At the very least, marches, public outcry, and the like. That's what the card really looks like, public outcry. A lot of people are coming for one objective, and I think that'll be that person that's going to be in their visor. So that is what I'm seeing for Barry and Honey Sherman. I hope you found that interesting. Make sure to leave a like and a comment. That really helps the channel along. I hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.